Alright, hi guys, and welcome to the final tutorial of Adobe Premiere Pro. We've covered a lot of information to help get you started in Adobe Premiere Pro, and I hope that the last tutorial specifically really gave you a grasp of using the editing platform. In this tutorial, we're going to cover some more basic principles to help you assist with your overall workflow. Let's first talk about organizing media. Media organization is essential to ensuring that your editing process goes smoothly. Okay, so now that we're at our screen, we're going to first talk about media organization in a more detailed way. Our project panel lets us use bins that help us organize the project content in much the same way as folders that you'll see in Windows Explorer or in Mac OS on Finder. Bins can contain source files, sequences, and other bins. As your project grows, you can make new bins to contain those items. While it is not necessary to create and use bins, most editors find them indispensable for staying organized. You can usually use bins in the following ways: to store offline clips for capture, to store main sequences and backup sequences, and to organize files by type such as video, still images, and audio files. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this project right here. And right here, I already have a couple of bins set up. I have my audio bin, my nature bin, which has my footage, and I have my sequence bin because I have a couple of sequences here. I have a sequence for this video that I'm creating right now and a sequence for this nature file. And I've placed them in the sequence bin. What this does is that instead of having all of my files listed in my project panel, it's more organized so that I can get what I need when I need it. It becomes very much easier to manage my clips and edit my video when I know what I'm getting. So let's go over the step of creating a new bin. Click New Bin. A bin is going to come up. It's automatically going to be named Bin. And I'm just going to title this one New Files. Now normally you would name the bin, let's say that you had various scenes in your videos. You could do like scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. You can name the bin anything you want, but the overall method is basically to set up these bins, or otherwise I guess you can call them folders as well, so that your clips and your media are organized in a way that it'll become easier for editing. And let me tell you, it can be very stressful to have things just everywhere and not really know where your clips and your media are, so that when you need to edit with them, you're not looking all over the place for them. Have the part of editing is organization, and the more organized you are, the more ready you'll be for editing. Okay, so that's how we create a new bin. Bins can also be created within a bin. So let's say I have this bin called nature, and I want to create a new bin within this bin. If I double click here, I can create a new bin, and let's say I wanted to type this scene 1. Here I can drag my clips, if it's scene 1, into that bin. Let's make another bin, scene 2. So now I've separated my clips into scene 1 and scene 2. Of course, this is not what I'm using for this video, but it just goes to show that you really can set up your bins however you want them and really get to a point of very detailed organization. I suggest that you guys first start with separating your video files from your audio files and keeping those in bins, because that'll help as well. And then once you start adding titles, add titles to bins, and so forth and so forth. I can guarantee you it'll help you keep your editing workflow clean. While you're working in a project, you may want to change the way you view your bins. In the standard layout, you'll see this hierarchy of your entire project, which is useful. However, sometimes you may want to open the bin in its own tab or open in a new panel. That way you can focus on the clips in a particular bin. Some clips in storyboard order in icon mode, or search for the clips with a bin by typing in the search field. Some editors like to use the bin window overlapping the interface, while others prefer to see bins open in a new place or in new tabs. Okay, so let's go over the different ways that we can view our bins. Okay, so as you can see down here in my project manager, I have this hierarchy of bins. If I just close them all. But what I was saying is that, let's say if I double click this bin, my bin appears in a new window, and I can actually edit with this window open. Okay, I can also attach this to my workspace, and I can have that bin in my workspace while I'm editing. Okay, I can also change the order of it. So let's say that I want it to switch to icon view. I can do that here, and now I have the icon view instead of the list view. I prefer the list view. It's just more easier for me to see what I'm looking at. But these are some different options you can use with the bins. Okay. So, how does this work for the editing platform? I've already told you how much it is to be organized, but when you have a lot of footage and you really have to edit a lot of things, just going to that scene one and saying, okay, this is my scene one clips. Let me select my in and out points, in, out. You're good. You're not like searching for this file name. You already know what is in scene one. You know what you're selecting, and you're putting it in your timeline. It makes it so much easier rather than trying to find the clip. Okay, so that's the whole idea of bins in the project panel. Although it's a small thing, it can be really beneficial in ensuring that you have a great editing workflow. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about are labels. Labels are colors that help you identify and associate assets. You assign and view labels in the project panel as well. Label color mark assets in the project panel, label column, and in the timelines panel. Okay, so let's say I typically use labels to differentiate my scene A from scene B clips, or I might use it for like bad video or good video, or just another method of organizing within the bins as well. As you can see here, I have a couple of different labels. I have these orange and green and purple labels. Right now they don't mean anything. It's just to give you it's just to introduce you to the different label options. So let's say that you have like two video files, and one is for sequence 1 and one is for sequence B. You can actually change the label by right-clicking and selecting label, and basically you yourself assign a definition to these different labels. So if you want it green to mean that you've used all the clips in that particular folder, then that's what it can mean. Your labels mean anything that you want them to mean. But it's also another method of staying organized and making sure that you're using your editing workflow to the fullest extent so that you don't have any additional problems or anything that'll keep you from editing the way you're supposed to. Okay?